more than just bone and skin. Listen to the song of the wind, the graciousness, the spaciousness coming from within. A concrete brick, a stone, the song they sing is heaven is my home.
Are deathless. That alone is worth something. But I want to show you how to discover this in your heart completely. In the correct way of looking at it. To know it. Because you can find it out in the life. You can find it out. You know, the inquiry is helping to reveal it, in fact, in a way that cannot be refuted. It's not enough as a belief. It's not bad, but it's not enough. Suppose it came to a point where many people, when they meet you, they encounter also their Vasanas. They meet their Vasanas. So maybe their reaction to you won't not be nice initially. Maybe they avoid or something. Would you be open to that? Are you open to this? No? Not in some arrogant way like, wow, you know, yeah, I gave them the run. No. But somehow that you understand this thing. That the reflection is also like that. That a true one will still be attracted. We're very attracted to know this is the most meaningful thing, most important thing. The shallow-minded one is gonna, oh my God, there, man, feel uncomfortable, and because many times people they try to go to where it feels always comfortable, but it's not where you grow. It's not where you. And then from discomfort, turn big joy. On the other side of it, on the flip side of that coin. First, sometimes you feel stuff, feeling all this stuff, unworthiness, but all the stuff that was there, but hadn't really somehow been recognized. Maybe it's been defended, maybe some things are there, unclarity, somehow hiding in the half-light of the psyche or something, but then somehow it starts to come up, and it can be felt like, it's a bad thing, so my life is falling apart. So we don't know how to read it. That sometimes your life falling apart is the best thing happened to you. The life somehow, if your intention is always prioritized to make friends with people, then you run from the truth. You're not trying to make enemies or friends. There's something true, something more true.
Mooji? It's not so important what I'm saying. Just curiosity, can the Vasanas be seen energetically?
Of course. Of course they are seen. What you call Vasanas is like more some suppressed tendencies. Sometimes we're not quite sure about them. They sprout every now and again. Certain situations, certain contexts bring them up, highlights them. A Vasana could be, as an example, the fear of being alone, or fear of rejection, the need to be acknowledged or praised or something, or any of these type of things, or a fear of just being yourself or something, or in the terms of your idea of what you think is yourself. All these type of stuff. And why we talk about them? Because, as I use the example many times, when they flare up, I use a term that they seem to hold the beingness hostage, meaning that it goes into this lock,
feels like an energetic cage.
Yes.
A limitation,
Yes.
an energetic cage.
Yes. Then it's sort of like somehow a lot of identity in it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the root of it, is identity. You see, because for the pure consciousness, there are no vasanas. There's no destiny, nothing like that. But for the personal aspect of consciousness, then there are all these idiosyncrasies, all these kind of qualities, all these tendencies, history, identity, projection, dream, pride, all these things. They create some kind of what I call like a psychic tumor inside. So you're not really free, in this way. And some situations you always need to control somehow. Not necessarily obsessively, because you get your game together well enough to even appear like you're not controlling, but there's still some amount of control is always there and needed also. But then life sometimes comes and throws a grenade, you see, in the nursery. And everything is, but new order comes out of it. The most powerful way of transcending what you may call this Vasana energy is to realize yourself, to know, to recognize again your true nature. I see. I always come back to this. It's the most direct, it's the most clean, it's the most pure, it's the most immediate, in fact. But can that switch be made, you see? Of course it has, because the nature, the original thing, is already the truth. If it was already the lie, then you say, oh, I don't know if you can do it. But because your original nature is the truth, I said, my gosh, look how fortunate life is turning out. The more you're discovering the truth, the more you realize, my God, my whole life is a blessing. It's been a true... Just imagine. All our phobias, all our bogeymen and everything that is in our minds. The life is very kind in many respects. It's kind until you need a good kick. And then it give you a good kick. But this kindness is also love, this kick. So, yeah, you can see them energetically. You feel it also when we are. I have to say, mostly we are energetic beings, more than we are psychological. No, that's something you grow under. But naturally, we are being attracted and repulsed by energetically. Some of it, though, is not pure. Some of it is to do with our projections, what you create in your mind. Then you create a kind of attraction for some kind of thing, and then your attention will go there. But energetically, when Satyam left here, I shared with some of you what he said. Just the morning he was leaving, he came to me and he said, "Thank you for always ignoring me when I was entertaining my mind, and for holding me when I was not entertaining my mind." And it was so simple. I said, "Is that coming from you, dear Satyam? That's very good." You see? Because he said many times when he's in his mind, somehow I just happen to walk past and not. But it's not anything intentional, I said. No, it's not anything intentional. It's just, I don't know. It just happened like that. Then somehow feel very much to come to you. I feel very, I don't know how it is like that. You just feel like it come and, I just want to. But there's no story in that. It's just pure attraction. Just to hug him. That's very good. And then, okay. Now he tells me those were the moments when I kind of let go of all this kind of monkey business in my mind, and somehow I attained some peace. Then somehow this thing seemed to flourish in that moment. But when I'm in entertaining my stories and getting into my judgments and stuff like this, that is. So energetically you're unattractive. In the same way, if you're desperate, you're unattractive. If you have a need, and a very unattractive quality, you will only attract those who will exploit you. But genuine ones, they will not attract them, because it's not it's not attractive to the beingness. Because you want something, which means that you're out of your harmony. You're wanting, I want this, I want this. So you're a bit out of harmony. So when you're again in your calmness again, and everything to come again. The world comes to you in a way because you don't demand anything from it. You don't put conditions on it. There's space in you, you see. When you have space in you, you tend not to be requiring, demanding, and all this type of thing.
Yeah, just this morning again, I just realized that there's no effort to make about these vasanas. Just to keep open, and the light inside burns it or absorbs it. There's really no effort to make.
Yeah.
There's no fight to have there.
When there's a need for a fight or effort, then the universe will produce it.
Yeah.
It doesn't just come from your mind.
Yeah.
You see? That's the thing. Sometimes people say, oh, the inquiry is so hard. So maybe you're doing too mentally. You're doing because I think I should, who is this? You're not enjoying. The inquiry is a joy, actually. You sort of look into something and not no, not like that. And they said no. There's a sometime when the power comes to look penetratively at a certain thing. And the power is there. You didn't create it. It's arising already, and it's just directed. It's brought to that place. And it's going to burn, delete all kind of stuff. All the seeds, all the eye seeds are going to get burnt there. Then that's when the power comes. And then somehow, when it has emptied itself, then it relaxes again. Even in your silence, in the sense of the non-doing state, in the no-mind state, the debris is being burnt. Somehow, it's just being burnt like that.
Talking about death. Last year, a very dear friend of mine, she was very free, beautiful.
A friend of yours last year.
Yeah. She went to a waterfall and she decided to jump.
She went to waterfall and decided to jump.
And finish this.
Intentionally.
We don't know.
You don't know.
And it just seemed she was very, very courageous in her quest for freedom, and everything she did in life. It felt, from the outside, it looked like that for all of us. And I don't know. I just wanted to ask you about that. Because she was deeply wise, and I really trust. There was a deep wisdom in her that was not earthly. It was very rare. Her presence, and so I know that she found some difficulty in the last year with mental illness and things. So that was a part of it, but it didn't seem like an ordinary kind of, I don't know how to say it actually.
Well, the door to your next stage, there are many and so varied. You don't know how, because sometimes we think, the good ones should live and the bad ones who should die. Like death is a punishment or something, but it's just your time. It's for this, on this stage. Somehow is the time for that movement. We can't understand that because we want to perpetuate as much as possible on this level, particularly if you're enjoying your existence and whatever. Somehow something wants to continue or something like this. But there's continuity, but not in that way. Always. So I remember one boy, he was in London with us, and he was a drummer, playing drum, Italian boy. And one time he came to the house, he was with another friend, Chinese friend, and they went off to smoke something. And the Chinese one came back, and he said, oh yeah, we went and we had a little smoke and stuff like that. He was quite innocent in a way like that. And I told him, none of you should smoke because you can't handle it. Some people can handle a smoke, you know. They can smoke 5-6 spliff in an hour if they want to. And they just chill there, okay. Some people, one, they're gone. Anyway, I told him, don't do this, it's not good for you, because particularly in the Italian one, I say, I don't think this is for you, your temperament is not suited to that. Anyway, he started to somehow some odd behavior, and over the months, his behavior became increasingly kind of odd kind of way. And then I heard on the news one day that it was something happened that this man was pulled out of the river today, and when they pulled him out, he was alive, come out of the river. Somebody saw him jump off one of the bridges in London, and they quickly some help came and went look for, and they found him. When they caught him, he said that he jumped because he saw a puppy jumped, and then he jumped to save the puppy. Nobody found his puppy, so there was some question around his health, whether, you know, like he's hallucinating, all this type of stuff. And his girlfriend got pregnant, and they were just expecting a baby. Shortly afterwards, I found that they found somebody in Brighton, you know, and they could only recognize it by his tattoos. He had some tattoos, so they could recognize, but they could not recognize him, you know, because he's been in the water for a long time or whatever. So we knew it was him. And then his parents came to London, and they were just sort of distraught. His mother was completely a wreck, you know. So he said, why did this happen? Why is it happening? I don't know. It was something compelling him into this type of life. I don't know what was happening. And she was very, very saddened. Then a week before she returned to Italy, I met her. Somebody brought her to me something. And she looked very comfortable and calm. I said, this is nice. She was very reassured, very calm. I said, how are you doing? She said, fine. He came to me yesterday because I was asking, I was crying, I was so sad. I said, why you do this? You know? You have all your life in front of you. Why you do this? She was so distraught. And then he appeared to her and he said to her, don't worry. You know, what is one life when compared with infinity? And somehow it just went inside, and she came to a deep state of peace that is okay. Because until then she's having a lot of, you know, like, my God, what is this? And that his spirit was all distraught and he's in some strange place and whatever. I don't know what she was saying. But he appeared to her like this and said like this, don't worry, you know, for this life. What is one life when compared to infinity? I said, well, okay, it's enough. All these things happen. My own father, no? He was a beautiful man, beautiful, beautiful man. Very, very peaceful, very quiet. Everybody knows my father. He was very different in temperament from my uncle, his brother. Younger brother. My uncle was my father's younger brother. And even when I was young, my father was a very affectionate person. So he used to hug me and kiss me and stuff. My uncle didn't like that. So you're spoiling the boy, you're turning him into a girl, what up and all this. But I was very close with my father. We always slept on a bed just about as wide as this table, like two sardines together asleep. Then my father passed away. He went to Kingston for an operation and never came back. And I remember they came back and they said, I hear people crying in my house. What happened? You know, your father, Enos, he's not coming back. He died. And then I know, he died. Well, my father can't die. He's not permitted to die. I mean, that's my father, you know. So, like this, it happened like that. Then my uncle, I lived with my uncle. Life became very different experience. He was much more of a disciplinarian, very firm. So maybe making up for all the time, maybe he felt my father. So there was always a little friction. My father was very shanty. Then after I went to England in 1969, I left Jamaica. I was 16 years old. My uncle had left early and went to America. They lived in America, in California. They were living in California. I didn't see my uncle from that time. I don't see them. My son went to America and saw them and spent time with him and all. And then my cousin, who is my uncle's daughter, and she told me, actually, just before my uncle passed away, and then one night he was always gets a bit, sort of in some kind of struggle. Then one morning he was very bright. He said, you had a good sleep last night, Papa. He says, yes, it came to me last night. It's my father, who died many years, 1962. 1963, my father passed away. And touched me and says, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. And within 1-2 days, you left. How are you going to understand these things? I see. And many, I can keep telling you all day things like this. So, did my father really come and visit my uncle? Yes. Yes and no. Yes and no.
There was also very much love my parents. Very grateful to them. And also I would like to have your blessings for them, because sometimes there is lots of fear, maybe something inside maybe feel that somehow my presence is responsible to somehow do something for them, or just to be, because I feel you mentioned this, and also a concept that when they leave their body they're going to be lost, because I recognize the love in them and the truth, but somehow the mind feel is too strong. And,
yeah, no, they're not going to be lost like that. After you pass, your life is better than this one anyway. Something is better, something is more light, because this physical existence and the conditioning around it imposes a tremendous amount of tax on the being. That somehow, when it's alleviated from that kind of bodily sort of, restriction, is in a much lighter field. You see things much more clearly also.
I had a dream last night that I got shot. It was beautiful because it was such surrendering. Like I knew it was gonna happen, and everything became so beautiful, and I felt it, and everything was seen. Like I saw it. I saw the body went, and felt the blood running, and but I was there.
Yes. Yeah. We've learned a lot of bad things in life, a lot of wrong concepts. And it's not that you have to now learn new ones, you learn a bit like that, but discover also the simplicity of being. It brings in a lot of things, correct a lot of things. The simplicity of being is doing it. Not that we have to go and learn now, replace some worldly concepts with and conditioning with spiritual conditioning, not like this. But just come to a lightness. This is why I tell you that learning is not so much of an important thing, because learning is still not a mental thing, kind of learning, but discovering and transformation and sort of like the lightness that you're left through real wisdom and real understanding, the lightness that is left in your being, the simplicity of the unfolding, the simplicity of the functioning of perception also. all of this is so joyful and so joyful. You know? Have you met anybody who's been liberated who is miserable? I don't think so. Even if they play inside, the people gather around it. Like some people like this aspect. They don't like too much happiness. They don't trust it. They like a serious sage. But what they get from them is still the pure joy. It just the surface may look a bit different, but inside the same vastness is there.
Can I just say something? So
Yeah.
what have been troubling me for a few days now is this sense of fear of being separate from your physical presence. And not that something's going to happen to you or to me, but just something like, it's almost as if I could not recognize love if there is not a special attention given to me, to this one. So it's like, it becomes a bit of a pain not to be under your eyes, like presentially under your eyes, something like this. I don't know if I'm explaining.
I understand how it can feel like this, and
I also can see the amount of identity and ego and neediness that there is there. But it's just, I just want to put it out.
yeah. But these are just thoughts, actually. Just for everybody, you know. Look, the vital force that is expressing as the breath inside your body is the same vital force that Jesus, he was breathing also. The same distribution of blood, the same functioning of the senses. He looked at the same sun, the same moon like we're looking at. Krishna looked at the same sun, same moon. The way thoughts arise inside the field of consciousness, the same thing happened. The perceiving of them, the same place perceiving them. But the belief in myself as a person, that limitation, somehow slips away. And this categorizing tendencies of the mind, it slips away, slipping away. So there's pure perceiving, pure perception, like taking place in a background of like a kind of space, but not spaced out space. No, it's just a kind of it's almost like a solid emptiness. That's what presence is there, like this. And that presence is love. It's also manifest as love. The perfume of it is love, and joy, and peace. So before we go to lunch, let's just connect up a little bit and just be quiet in this moment and just somehow so whatever has been shared within the notion of separateness and so on, now intravenously make itself one. Beyond the limitations of mind and divisions and so on. To introduce us to what is beyond events, into our eternal being. If for this reason you have come here, then so may it be fulfilled. We are the space within which all manifestation finds space to be perceived. We are the inexhaustible, the unending, the beginningless, the timeless. The unstained, the unstainable, the indivisible, the immutable one. pure being who is using this life expression now for the sole purpose of recognizing and enjoying its own magnificence. So be it. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. That which is as no other place, no other home, but in the core of your being. It cannot leave because it never came. It just is. Know this beyond any doubt. Be aware, come alive to this knowing without any doubt. And this moment has been set aside just for this. Whatever has happened in terms of events in the life cannot separate you from this. These are mere imaginings. So may this awareness shine brightly in our being to overcome and overtake all the superficial layers of ignorance. So be it. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Very good. Namah Shivaya. Om. Very good.
You're more than just bone and skin. Listen. Listen to the song of the wind. The graciousness, the spaciousness coming from within. A concrete brick, a stone. The song they sing is heaven is